It's been a week since the launch of Esmera and the start of this project. Am I still within the budget? Well, first let's break down what I did for day 6 and 7. At the end of my last video, I said that the Forbidden Temple is the best spawn I have found, and as I logged in on day 6, I saw that all the rock belts I looted were sold, as well as a bunch of other items. With that, it was clear that I had to continue hunting there, which I did for the majority of day 6. Because most of the profit I made from the day before, I spent on buying a deer trophy to start the quest for trading with Rashid. So I needed to make focus on making money to stay within the budget. I got to level 64 hunting here, and then I wanted to once again test the Drefty Necromancers, thinking that by adding the room of the Necro quest will improve it a lot. Turns out that it did improve a bit, but it wasn't any easier to hunt, and it was just barely above the Forbidden Temple in terms of experience, but much worse for profit. So after doing a 20-minute test, I decided on taking the quest rewards and leaving. While hunting here, I did loot a spellbook of warding, which was a nice upgrade for my equipment. Other upgrades I did were the Hat of the Mat, which I did the quest for, a Focus Cape, which I bought for 6k, and a One of Defiance, which I bought for 5.5. After my short hunt on the Necros, I still had a bit left over of green stamina, so I did one last hunt at the Forbidden Temple to finish the day. My last hunt was the best I ever had, profiting more than 40k in just one hunt. But since a lot of the loot cannot be turned into gold just yet, I have to hold on to them for a few more days. The results for the day were from level 60 to 66, magic level 49. I didn't buy any DCs this day as I spent most of the money in the hunts, equipment upgrades, and the deer trophy. Now moving on to day 7. Once again, having sold all the rock belts and also the modified crossbow for 40k, I had nearly 100k of gold when I logged in. With that, I bought 50 DCs and a Boots of Haste. This day I wanted to try and focus on making experience, and the first spawn I tried was the Mothers of Scarab's Cave. Unfortunately, as to be expected, it was taken by a team hunting, and the first floor was also taken by a different team. But now that I had my BOH and the few pulls I was able to get before seeing the other people were a lot easier, I decided to go to the best regular Scarab Cave, or at least the cave I thought was the best. Turns out it is not. I was able to get the cave, but I wasn't able to push more than 200k on raw experience, making it just slightly better than the cave I hunted on day 5 at a lower level. That was very disappointing, and I had wasted 30 minutes of green by now. My next plan was to do the quest to access Goroma to make it to the Bone Beast Island. It took me about 20 minutes to unlock the access past the energy barrier, but I ended up wasting that time, because the Goroma volcano was active today, making it impossible to get through at my level. This could have been avoided if I just checked the world board in the Adventurers Guild beforehand, but oh well, mistakes were made. At least I have access for when the volcano goes back to normal. By now I was running out of ideas, so I thought of trying once again the Peninsula Tomb to see if it was available, and I was able to get a hunt there, but the results were not as impressive. Here I was almost at 300k on raw experience, having just a little bit of waste, but what I was looking for was more experience, so I went to another spawn. This is a popular one, the Vampire Crypt of Edron. This is a really good spawn which I had avoided so far because I knew it would be taken the days before, but by now I felt like people would have moved on to other places, so it was worth trying. Thankfully, I was able to get the cave, and after one hunt for testing, I was getting 340k on raw experience, wasting a bit but also not having loot any rare items. This experience was a lot more fitting for what I wanted, so I activated my free experience boost from the daily rewards and also a bomb beast spray that I had saved. With that, I spent the rest of the day hunting here. On my following hunt, I was doing 380k on raw experience, which I'm not sure if the XP break counts towards that, but I believe it doesn't. I feel like I just had gotten more comfortable with the spawn and was doing better in general. I was also lucky to loot a Boots of Haste, which covered the waste for 2 hunts, and I also ended up getting a Vampire Shield and another Spellbook of Warding to the end of the day. And the results for today were from level 66 to 74, magic level 51. Also, today the coins had gone down in price since people are in need of gold to win the house bids, so I went back to buying supplies with Tibia coins. I spent 68 TCs in strong manas and 72 on AoE runes. I bought back 50 TC, and the Boots of Haste I bought were worth about 25 TC as well. I could have bought more coins, but instead I decided to spend my money on buying empty flasks at 7 gold each, because I'm confident they will go up 3 to 4 times in value with the ability to get casks tomorrow, but we'll see if it pays off then. Moving on, I want to point out that technically the experiment ended today, because if I don't take into consideration the TCs I have bought across the days, then today I went past the budget, spending a total of 534 coins throughout this first week. But I think the TCs I have bought should be considered, and taking those out of the waste, I am at negative 259 TCs. This should only decrease the following days, since now I'm starting to make a profit in a lot of different places, but also the cask will decrease the waste by a lot. Overall, I'm not sure what I want to do moving forward with the videos. I think the experiment will lose interest if I just continue to make profit every day, and also not sure if covering 2 days at a time is the right approach. If you have any suggestions or ideas, let me know, because I'm debating of making weekly updates of this character, or continue to cover a few days at a time depending on the content, or lastly to go back to just making videos of the spawns. Once again, I'm open to suggestions, but also I'm very thankful for the support of the series so far. Thank you for watching and hope to see you again.